So I come to my final piece for assignment 1. The things I was bringing to this assignment, the positives from my rural landscape. I liked my monoprint work. I liked working with the acetate and the intaglio technique. And I liked mixing the ink colours, which I felt I got better at, and mixing them onto the plate and printing it straight with all the colours at once. From the urban landscape, I'd rediscovered lino and what I could do with that, and I'd reminded myself of the technique of working on separate plates. From the abstract, I'd really enjoyed playing with patterns, and I've always liked drawing buildings, and particularly with that piece as well. So I felt that my confidence and my revising my printmaking skills had worked well through these 3 project pieces. The problems I was still trying to solve were registration and masking to get a clean print, and this issue of whether my lino print was my lino plate was stretching, whether this type of flooring was working or not. Because of the amount of time that I'd spent on the 3 projects, and because of issues at home with looking after parents, my own health and unemployment for my husband, time was at a premium, and I did have to ask for an extension. But I set off into the final piece with those problems to solve. The brief was to do 3 colour plates that all linked together, and for a long time I was thinking in terms of working on a rural landscape. It was the time of year when all the yellow rape fields were all around us, and I went out and did some preparatory sketches for that. But with other things going on, I could see that the fields were going over in front of my very eyes, and the yellow was turning to green. So I needed to find a new topic to do my final piece. So what I decided to do for my final piece was to go to our local museum, which is the Museum of East Anglian Rural Life in the town, and to I remembered that there was a particularly nice windmill down there, and I thought that would make a really dramatic subject for working from a building and looking for patterns and shapes. The afternoon, when I managed to find a mum sitter and went down to the museum, it was bright sunshine and heavy showers, and by the time I got down to the mill and set up where I was working from, the rain absolutely fell down as I was doing this drawing. So I was working with an umbrella hooked over my shoulder. I managed to keep working on it using pens and charcoal. On my way down to the windmill, I'd come across the charcoal burner, and it looked beautiful because all his drums were smoking, and in the damp weather, the light and the sheen on the buildings was really lovely. So I stood and chatted to him for a while. Also in our local woods there's a place where I know that they make charcoal, and this turned out to be the same chap. So I came away from my conversation with him with a box full of authentic Museum of East Anglian Rural Life charcoal. So that was really nice to be able to do the drawings using charcoal that had been produced on site. So I worked on the windmill as and when I could. I took lots of photographs to support it, and the one benefit of the changeable weather was that I got to see my view in sunshine and rain, with all different sorts of colours and lighting all in the same afternoon. I have to say, even though it was appalling conditions, I just thoroughly enjoyed myself, and it was a good time with a break away from home responsibilities. This was the main drawing I did of the mill, trying to get the tones and the shapes. This is in my big A3 sketchbook, so it was a a large, getting on for A2 picture that I was working on. Started off kneeling on a mat, but that got drenched, so but managed to get down all the information that I needed. And on the way back, did this quick sketch of the charcoal burner and his work area. But the whole museum was lovely. It's some time since I've been up there, and there was absolutely loads to draw inside and outside, and I felt this would be useful for the future as a topic to feed my printmaking. I'd done the picture of the windmill, but also as I walked back through the museum, I stopped and did some sketches of other things as well. So I did the blacksmith's cottage, which is a rather lovely little building. All of these buildings have been transported from different places in East Anglia, and what I liked about this one was the wheels that were standing against the side of the cottage, and also the patterns and reflections in the window panes. So that was the drawing and the picture that I did on site. I then started trying to draw the wheels as well, but incredibly difficult, and was running short of time. One of the things I hadn't done was taken a phone with me, so I didn't have any idea what the time was, and I was trying to keep an eye on the car park. From the photos, which one did I do first? This one. From the photos of the windows, I did this picture and started to sort out the shapes and the colours, and to work out how that could be a reduction lino cut. That was a rough sketch, and then I redrew it a bit more accurately to work out exactly what I needed for the lino cut. I also worked on the building, again using photocopier to scale down. Tried to do it by hand, but it was worked much better with the photocopy. And I also was drawing the wheels and looking at the shadows. That took a lot of getting that right, and I realised how significant the lines of the planks on the side of the building were as well, for sort of helping me to draw. They made a sort of natural grid to draw with. And eventually I came up with this design as well. So I felt quite pleased that I'd got my triptych, that I had the building to work from, and then the two patterns which were taken from different aspects of the building.